Welcome everyone to the SERL American Ethanol Series Season 2 Race 8 at Riki Raceway. Out of the 3 series, this is the only series that has come here before, and that was Season 1 Race 4. That race was won by Austin Delgado, and at that point that was his second career win, and that was his second win ever at Super Speedway. And that win sort of established himself as a Super Speedway veteran and just someone that can really be able to master these types of tracks. And so far, we've had many super speedway type races at various different tracks. We've had Daytona, that was won by Riley Smith, and I think most recently Hillside, which was won by Biff Crafton. But Riki Raceway is a totally different playground. As I said yesterday in the Truck Series race, the type of racing we get here is what I like to call like snake racing, especially on this start, because they're going to be like pretty much like nose to tail, several rows deep, both inside and outside. And this track is also a self-clean racetrack because of the high banking, like such as in the corners where the banking is 36 degrees, and the tri-oval is just half of that. And yesterday in the Truck Series also had quite the shake-up in the points. Maybe not with the points leader, but uh, through like second through like 10th. And I think we'll be seeing that today. And after last week in Mexico, our points leader is still Dale Scott, who once again, I think what's helping him get these really good finishes and extend his points lead is just by getting a really good starting position. Look right there. He starts in the third position. He's that black and orange car on the inside, right behind Matt Hoshkis, the pole center. And if he could stay out of trouble again, he will definitely extend his points lead. But who knows? Dean Orton is second in points. Andrew Gorman in the 22, the Memphis winner, third in points. Jonas Maps Jr. in the 97, fourth in points. Fifth in points is Kendall Maynor in the 70. Sixth in points is Ben Goldberg in the 3. The Hillside winner, Biff Crafton, is 7 points in the 62. Matt Hoshkis, who is the pole center for this race, is 8th in points. The 29th, Jacob Reed, is 9th in points. And the 0-1 of Riley Smith, the former points leader, is 10th in points. So I think that over the course of 20 laps, I think things will be pretty much identical to the truck race, and maybe things will get a little bit more wild. Who knows? But now let's get the cars rolling off. You also might notice that yellow wall at the end of the pit wall. I'm going to call that wall like a death wall or something, which a death wall is to me it is a very uh, uh, is like a wall that's sort of like out of like place as far as like the angles go. And if anyone hits that wall, uh, one, that's gonna be a hard look, and two, that's gonna cause a major crash because if you hit that wall, that's you're just gonna slide right back in the traffic. But anyway, here is the starting lineup. So the top 10 is Matt Hoshkis, Nick Smith, last week's winner at Mexico, 15 Dale Scott, Peyton Keys, Aiden Saunders, Garrett Sinner, Evan Paula, Ryan Casey, Blaine Keys, Ben Braley. That is your top 10. And here is the rest of the field. So I feel like that even though some of these drivers in this series have been here before, I just I don't I just feel like that even though some of these drivers just have more experience, I don't really know if that experience can really like benefit you at a Riki Speedway unless we have like a veteran win today, which I think it is possible, but we'll just have to see. But as the pace car is about ready to dive down pit road, and you'll see a yellow line across the racetrack that will signal not only the pace car's entry but also the pit road entry. See the yellow line right there, and the yellow line should like indicate the pace car comes down. But anyway, Matt Hoshkis, Nick Smith, 16 and 19 will race the green flag for the second ever race in the American Ethanol Series at Riki Raceway. Now, yesterday we saw I think it was Kenny Hamlin who started on the outside on the start, but he was actually able to take the lead after turn 1, and then Johnny Worth, who was in 4th, got to take the lead. But that doesn't look like it's going to be the case here today, as Dale Scott is just on the bumper of Matt Hoshkis, and now Dale Scott is not going to go to the point. Up front is the way you want to be, but even when you're up front, you can still get in trouble, because in yesterday's Truck Series race, a battle for the lead up front went horribly wrong, which resulted in a massive pileup. But now Aiden's talks here. Remember Matt Hotchkiss. Whoa, that's not good. Okay, they lay off somehow. Did we just have a crash behind him? I think we just had a crash. If we do. Okay, Connor Breeden. Yep, I saw it here. Oh, but we have another crash in front of them right here. Oh my goodness. Oh my god. I think one of these drivers hit the wall of death. Oh my goodness. Lisa Gonzalez, Arch Hossain, John Martin. Will these drivers get through? Wow, it turns out that the drivers who spun off turn number 4, it all paid off. Oh my goodness. But what was that? That was a massive crash. I took out many drivers. I wasn't really able to really get a huge grasp on who was involved. Okay, so the spin in turn 4 didn't bring out the caution, with the accident in turns kind of heavy in turn 1 did bring out the caution. And now Dean Orton, coming into this race second points, is going to lead all of these caution laps. This is what he needs to do in order to shorten the lead between him and Dale Sky, who was involved. So those two drivers right there got involved in the turn 4 mayhem. Daniel Boyles, Andrew Gorman, William Bedford, Riley Smith, Cameron Garlington, Kendall Minor. Some of these drivers are coming in high in points. Philip Goldberg, Charles Belding, Lisa Gonzalez, Tony Valeria, John Martin, and more. Just, oh my goodness, what a wacky crash. I think I jinxed it, because I think what happened was that heading into turn 1, one of those drivers got hooked and they hit the death wall, as I said. But let's take a look and see what first happened in turn number 4, and then what happened after the start-finish line. The reason why I thought something happened off turn before, even before I saw the spinning, was because I saw Garrett Sinner up front, and then all of a sudden I did not see him anymore. So when Garrett Sinner and Broden Kedchuk were drafting together, it went horribly wrong, and then Garrett Sinner comes down into Tony Valeria, and then Broden Kedchuk gets Cluck's Connor Breeden, and Garrett Sinner and Tony Valeria made pretty heavy contact with each other, which I think that might take Garrett Sinner out of the race. And as you can see, Tony Valeria was in the grass, but that was actually not the reason for the caution, which I originally thought that was. But let's take a look and see what happened to cause the big one. So the initial contact that started the big one was between Austin Kennedy and Lisa Gonzalez, and you'll see them right here in the center of the screen behind the blue car of John Martin. But right here, watch Charles Belling, Jacob Reed, Jonas Maps Jr. They are the first 3 cars on the inside on this shot, and I think possibly the contact was a result of what happened here. And what caused this right here, you could call this a glitch. Watch them. They for some reason all go into the grass right here, but then Austin Kennedy and Lisa Gonzalez here, they made contact here, and then it was also a combination of Charles Miller also coming back across the racetrack to hit John Martin as well. But look at this hard impact. And then back across the racetrack here, that's what collects everyone else. And while the wall of death didn't have safer barrier, at least this wall did. So some drivers got really lucky and blessed, because for all of these drivers that hit the safer barrier, that could have been a lot more worse. But I think everyone will be okay in this crash. Let's get a couple of alternative angles and then some onboard cameras. Watch all the cars involved just wreck right up in your face. Onboard John Martin. Kendall Maynor was one of those drivers who got involved when some of the drivers who hit the wall came back across the racetrack, and Kendall Maynor took a heavy hit. Regardless of what happens after we go back racing, I think he deserves a shout out for having a pretty great wreck avoidance. Did get some slight damage, but out of all the cars that got involved, he got like the least amount of damage. there are many drivers that are in the pits, but I think like Daytona and like in the Truck Series race, all of the drivers will just be out of the race. So now we only have 26 drivers on the racetrack and on the lead lap. So this is interesting. So we lost about half of our field. So it'll be interesting. But actually, as I pull up this up again, Dean Orton are here, leading all of these laps. Leading laps is what's going to help him just close the gap between him and Dale Scott. But the thing is, Dale Scott is right behind him, and as long as Dale Scott is finishing in this area, regardless of what happens to Dean Orton, he's still not going to gain as much as I think he would like to. But you know, it's still early in the season. Of course, a lot can happen. And then we have drivers like Aiden Saunders, Evan DePaula, and O'Neal Balvin, who have all had mixed success so far this season. But anyway, the green flag is back out at Riki. I think that won't be our only caution. I think we could see maybe like 2 to 3 more cautions later on in the race, but I think things will calm down. But anyway, the top 4 have just broken away from this pack, and this is what we saw like yesterday in the Domino's Pizza Truck Series race at Riki. There was a long green flag run, but for the most part, there was this pack that just separated from everyone else, and no one was really able to catch anyone. So yeah, but we are starting to see a little bit of sideways racing as we go through this field. There are some of the drivers that are on pit road, and Dean Orton will now lead another lap. Okay, I think like Peyton Keys or someone else was like on like the apron. I saw something. My goodness, the lag is so awful. But anyway, Dean Orton here, he's actually now started to pull away from Dale Scott just a little bit here as. Oh my God, behind there here, behind we have another crash. O'Neal Balvin, oh my goodness, Nick Smith involved. Ryan Casey. And now we have another crash here. LJ Mills in the 54 is involved. Johnny Mills. Oh my God, this crash pretty much took out of all of our 26 cars. This crash took out about half of that. Oh my goodness, here Jordan Deere, he's on the apron. What's going on there? But now Dean Orton, as he now leads another lap, he has so far led every single lap of this race, I believe, and because he will lead all of his caution laps unless he does something that happened to Philip Goldberg at Hillside. He should get the extra bonus point of leading the most laps. Well, let's take a look and see what happened with O'Neal Balvin, who I believe was running in the 5th position. So I think this crash was just simply like a 3-wide attempt that just went wrong. So O'Neal Balvin in the 5th position. Elgin Mills decides to go to the inside of O'Neal Balvin, but also Nick Smith thinks about going to the inside of Elgin Mills as well, and they were all pushing on each other here. But then in the end, O'Neal Balvin is the one that gets hooked into the inside wall, and then guess that wall has safer barriers. But then Elgin Mills pushed O'Neal Balvin back into Nick Smith. Ben Braley got some damage here, and then from here on, the carnage begins here. Because as you can see here, when Nick Smith went to the bottom, everyone else had the same idea, and that's why everyone else just got collected here. And then Ben Goldberg almost gets a wall in time, but then Johnny Mills in 7, like, ooh. I don't know why he came in there with like a full head of steam, but that's definitely going to take him out of the race. And now, let's get an alternative angle and maybe some outward cameras. From the exit of turn 2 on the outside wall. There were a couple drivers like Hurley Haywood and Club Crafton that also took some pretty hard hits. Hurley Haywood won at Atlanta, but really has not had any like shining moment or even like a good finish since then. And it looked like that he could have had one today, but yet just gets into even more trouble. This was a pretty nice wreck avoidance from our pole slinger Matt Hoskins, who was just behind all of this. Here is everyone that is now officially out of the race. So now we only have 19 drivers on the racetrack and on the lead lap. Ryan Casey being the last driver in that position. Not in the position, in that group. and Dean Orton, he is still the leader. I think Dale Scott might have led the first lap, but if I'm incorrect, then Dean Orton has led every single lap so far in this race. And last restart, he was able to actually pull away from everyone else. But let's see if he can do that again. I think if he can do that again on this restart, and if we have another caution, if he does that again, he should pretty much be. I I think he'll pretty much. I think he'll win if he can do that. We'll just see. And as I said before, Dean Orton, he is trying to gain all the points he can to close in that gap between him and Dale Scott. I think nevertheless, unless something goes horribly wrong between these two drivers, they should be able to separate themselves from the rest of the pack in the point standings. Because when we think about it, Andrew Gorman, Jonas Pass Jr., Kendall Maynor have all had some kind of trouble today. And those drivers are third through fifth in points. And look at that, Dean Orton is just pulling away. But now all of a sudden, we're starting to see some drivers move up to the front, like Blaine Keys. Blaine Keys is moving up, and actually Jonas Pass Jr. I don't know why I said he was in trouble. He's actually still up in this race. I think I confused him. I think I confused him for Cameron Blake, who was involved in the last crash. I'm sorry, but Dean Orton, he's just sailing away. I don't really know what he can do in this type of situation. This is pretty much like identical to what happened to Riley Smith at Daytona. Once he got the lead, he just kept on pulling away. But here comes now Aiden Saunders in the 9. Aiden Saunders, he has had success on the road courses, especially New Jersey, but he's not really. I don't remember him having almost any success on the super speedways. But as he takes second away from Dale Scott, he looks to maybe, can he chase down Dean Orton? That's gonna be interesting if he can. But Dean Orton, he is just loving all of the side-by-side racing because it's just helping him even more. Right behind Ian Saunders, we have Blaine Keys and Payne Keys, the two Keys brothers. In Payne Keys, he's come close a couple of times, but hasn't been able to close the deal. And Blaine Keys in the 88, he is currently. He's actually not even inside. He's actually not even inside the top 25 points. So this would be a great day if he can finish right around here. Whoa. Blank Keys, Payne Keys. Okay, I thought they were gonna hook. Did I hear spinning? Okay, for some reason I thought I heard spinning. But anyway, now all of a sudden here, it looks like that Evan Impala and Dale Scott have started falling back here just a little bit. Ben Braley, he's also up in the mix as well. And now right here, I can't tell right here if Dean Orton is pulling away. I think he's pretty much like maintaining his distance that he's had in the past couple laps, but I think there's kind of almost nothing to worry about here for him. Ian Saunders in the 9. Well, okay, Ian Saunders, he gained a couple hundreds that last time by, so there's maybe a chance. But if we have a later's caution, I think it's pretty much all over. So Ian Saunders might as well try to make his move right now, and I think he has drafting help from Payne Keys, Dale Scott trying to get back up to the front here, but I think it might be too late for some of these drivers. Anyway, as we go back, look at this right battle here. Ben Braley, Blaine Keys, and Biff Crafton. Biff Crafton trying to salvage a good fisher here. He's avoided everything so far. And now also here, it looks like Aiden Saunders here, he's actually started closing in on Dean Orton maybe just a little bit more now. He has some pretty good drafting help from Payne Keys, but Payne Keys here, well now here comes Dale Scott. I think it's going to ruin up the draft just a little bit. And that time by, they gained like 2 hundredths of a second. But I still don't think it's going to be enough. I think they're going to have to do a lot more than that in order to catch Dale Scott. But they definitely do have drafting help. But here comes Dale Scott once again. Can Dale Scott finalize the pass this time? And Payne Keys also looks like he's trying to go the inside as well. Well, now they Payne Keys out to drive. But I really think that's going to hurt this pack's momentum. As we now just have 3 more laps to go here. Here comes Dale Scott. He's looking to make a move. He's trying to get back. He's trying to get back into the second place. But I think Dean Orton has this in the bag, unless something catastrophic happens. We have not really ever seen like engine failures come out happen for a driver up front, especially during a green flag. Like pretty much, I think almost all of our engine failures have happened under caution for some reason. But anyway. So the last lap, despite all the passing, the distance actually remained about the same, but now all of a sudden everyone is starting to get into a single file groove here, with the first half of the battle being with like Jim Kelly and someone else. But Dean Orton here, it looks like that he might still gear here. He might actually separate from this Packer here. And we have a crash behind me here. LJ Mills and Evan Paula, I think it was. Jim Kelly involved, Jacob Reed involved. Yep, I was right. That was Evan Paula. Oh my goodness, those were some hard licks, as Daryl Walsh once said. But oh my goodness here. So that's here. The race is over. Unless Aiden Saunders can do anything. Well, actually, the race is back here. Unless Aiden Saunders can somehow find enough speed, Dean Orton is going to take the checkered flag. Oh, never mind. They're not racing back. The race is over. So the caution is out right here. And for Elgin Mills, Evan Apollo, Jacob Reed, and I don't know who else was in that. Oh yeah, Jim Kelly. It was going to be such a pretty good day for them, and it looks like by the time this event is over, we're only going to have 15 cars finish the race. So wow, watch out for all those Hot Wheels Cup Series drivers for tomorrow. But anyway, let's get a look and see what happened coming off of turn number 4. This was pretty much identical to what happened to Eric Almarhart and Big Crafton late in the race, but the difference was that they were battling for the lead, or they were actually first and second. This time, Evan DePaula, Jim Kelly battling close to the top 10. They just took together into the inside wall, and then they come back across the racetrack here. And then for Jose Mills, he gets collected right here, and then Jacob Reed here, who was far behind this. I think he was the last car on the racetrack here. He goes to the bottom here, but then LJ Mills, he slides back to the bottom here, and look at this flip here. Oh my goodness, end over end in the air, and he actually came pretty close here to hitting the pit wall. We're going to take an onboard camera of LJ Mills. I think very similar to Hurley Haywood. Elgin Mills has just not had that great of a season, and it looked like that today could have been like one of his better days, but nope. I'm amazed by the fact that the camera actually did not go out, even when he was upside down. Here is the finishing order. So as I pull this up right here, so I was right. Only 15 drivers finished this race. Yes, there are drivers that are labeled a couple laps down or more, but those drivers were pretty much on pit road like the entire day. So I think we can just mark those drivers as out of the race. So far, 2 races and just a lot of action going on. But I think most notably, just a ton of DNFs. I think we'll be seeing this tomorrow in the Hot Wheels Cup Series race. And the thing is, that race is 30 laps long, so we could see even more of that. But I think we could also see more strategy. I think we could hopefully see more like leaders. Like yesterday in the Truck Series, that race had like 3 different leaders, but a lot of lead changes. And then this race had, I think maybe like 1 or 2 different leaders, and only in like almost like 0 lead changes. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But anyway, so even though Dean Orton is gonna get maximum bonus points, because Dale Scott finished right around him, he's still gonna have a massive points lead by a lot over Dean Orton. So so far Dean Orton and Dale Scott, I think these 2 drivers, I think we could legitimately see these 2 drivers in the championship hunt by the time I'm really Digital comes around, which hosts the season finale in all 3 series. But anyway, I would like to thank everyone for watching this race. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you stay tuned for the Hot Wheels Cup Series race that will be uploaded later today. Be sure to rate, comment, subscribe, and bye. Congrats to Dean Orton on your first ever American Ethanol Series win.